All right, it's here. Crimson Desert. Let's talk about it. 9950X 3D, 64 gigs of RAM, 5090. Nothing else running. The game doesn't run too great. It doesn't run too great. I would I would say that it's real hard to trust anybody anymore on performance reviews, man. And I just like as a 5090 owner that plays a lot of games and it is a graphics ward and plays a lot of high fidelity. Um, I kind of, I was in disbelief of like, you go, it runs so good, and nobody really ever showing stuff off and cherry picking footage and you know the way the industry works is just if you know you know, and it's hard to believe a lot of this stuff. Um, I think there's something either wrong with DLSS or the ray reconstruction. But either way, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. Um, what you're told something runs like and what it actually is not always the same thing. And I don't know why we don't have a controller. Okay. So that's weird. This is what I have both on my screen. No, not even showing latency, which is strange. So I've went through all the settings that I could, and it seems to like you get like this bug as well that you have to reload the game. That I can't quite figure out what the situation is, and even like now, while I have my mouse and my controller on screen at the same time, I don't really understand. So right now we have upscaling off, frame gen off. Okay, VSync is on because there's a ton of screen tearing for whatever reason. We can turn that off for now, but this is on a S90F OLED 0144, one of the new, like the brand new Samsung OLEDs. So it's not on 240, but I mean, whatever. You're not gonna get games at 240 without frame gen and DLSS anyways. The controls are so not intuitive. Basically maxed everything, ray tracing, all cinematic. You can tweak some of this stuff, but I also found some things interesting when you mess with lighting. That actually turns off things like reconstruction. So I don't know. That's weird. And like the math isn't mathing. Like the utilization doesn't make a lot of sense in some of these areas. But you can't have Ray on obviously without DLSS. But you can have ray tracing on. So, and it will ping the card out a little under 60 FPS. And this, but the thing is, even at 4K, what I'm noticing when I look at the picture quality, you're not going to see this in the recorded footage, because of the just degradation of the upload. There's still like some strange smearing and res drop that is just like in the game baseline somehow. And then you'll see a lot of pop-in and things too. This is a pretty early on part of the game. I think the shadowing, the lighting, and the pop-in kind of kill the whole fidelity of the game. You can just see it like this is talked about in reviews. Like it'll be right in front of you. It'll happen over and over again. And as you like pan out 40-50 yards, you can see the lighting and shadows change. So it's one of those things like for a fidelity game, it kind of kills it. And then right now, if you look at the top left of the screen, it's like the greenery will move at a different hertz frame rate, and also kind of smear out. And you're really not going to see this unless you're native and you're looking for that kind of stuff. But we are talking about fidelity and performance of this game because of it was supposed to be, shock and awe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I see that. There's a lot of weird things that don't fully render in at the proper resolution, and it shifts and changes. And the lighting and shadows are definitely a problem. I think that's been brought up in a few reviews. Even when like quick panning comes and goes. It's a double-edged sword when you get on a higher end screen because you notice more imperfections. Then that becomes your baseline. Like those flowers just popped in. But even like on AA and things like the AA and then the bridge is pretty bad. And, is it still good detail? Yes, but it's one of those things where even like the water doesn't look right. The water is so strange in this game. I don't know how to explain it. It looks kind of mobile-esque at times. But we're gonna go ahead and turn some of this stuff on just because it's a good way to get an ideal. We'll go 4.5L. We'll go DLA. We'll do Ray on. And for whatever reason, our latency will go to a ridiculous number, and it gets bad. It's like steering a boat now, and now we've dropped to 30 FPS with ray reconstruction on, and we're still pinged out, and now we have just like way bad latency, right? Okay, so but to me, anything over 40 is just really not playable. It's not enjoyable. Even with reflex on, like on a controller, it's a lot. And this is where people are like, "Oh, it's fine on mouse, maybe," but on a controller, it's like steering a boat. And then a game like this where it doesn't have conventional movement controls, and I think that's what they don't talk. A lot of people aren't talking about in this game. Like that also hinders the fun of this game because like the controls are just bizarre on how to jump and move, and it's so unconventional, and it feels not fluid, surprisingly. But anyways, so you can see right there, like we're 30 FPS with DLA, and no frame gen, but ray re's on. With ray reconstruction, you can see some good in some things, but it also has issues and kind of hard to tell in this area. What you will see though is some of that AA is cleaned up. But watch the shadowing on the character that I was following. Watch. And you can see him pop in and out. Like his whole arm will pop in. Look at no arms. Arms and shadows. Like I don't know if you can see that without zooming in, and I don't have all the fancy stuff to do that. But it's pretty bad because he's not that far away. And for a game that has a draw distance of like that, with some detail, I don't understand why a character a few yards away doesn't have arms.
Catch sight of something.
But something I was noticing when I was moving through the world, even like the rocks to my left, over there, you can watch the pop in, and it's just like the terrain moves, and it's kind of bizarre. I don't know. It changes. I did this for like a half hour earlier because I was just like I was trying to see where like the shadows would move once I turn, like once you pan out, and then you pan back in, stuff kind of starts to repopulate, and it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of distracting when you think of a game that's supposed to be high fidelity and maxed out. Yeah, like see that he disappears and it comes and goes. See his arms are there. Yep, there it goes. So anyways, there's a lot of just weird off the wall stuff, and we can turn frame gen on, and I'm just gonna go straight to 4 because why use anything else? 10 gigs of VRAM is what it's calling for. Now, we get a better frame rate, but look at the latency. That's insane.
Sight of something.
That's insane latency. I mean, that's not okay. And that's just frame gen because the game is running 30 FPS. And now we're so, and you can't do anything about VSync. I can't run VRR right now because I'm running this through an Elgato, and Elgato VRR 4K plus 10-bit plus 144, just like it doesn't work 99% of the time. That's an Elgato thing because Elgato makes kind of products. But maybe you just saw that shifting and pop in there. To me, it kills the immersion that I was looking for in this game. And this is just one area. This is just one starter area. When you get into the city and stuff, it's actually worse. But I just want to give this example. I had to kind of find a medium with quality, and people are going balanced performance. But the thing is, on a 42-inch, it really starts to look messy and blurry in performance. And most people don't care when they do these videos and upload to YouTube, because YouTube, the compression and degradation, you're not going to notice the difference. So people always tell you, oh, performance is fine. That's horseshit. Performance is not fine on a big 4K on a good screen. It's just not. If you're on a 4K IPS, a couple of the mini LEDs, even a couple of lower end OLEDs, maybe. But once you get to a really good screen, the performance doesn't look that great. There are some games, some like Unity games and stuff, that it's fine. But when you get in these higher detail games, it starts to look Vaseline and muddy, and you can tell it's low res.
That's the only way a fighter can test their strength. Funny, isn't it?
There's a lot of detail in this game, but there's a lot of performance issues with lighting and objects and load in. Yeah, and then like the latency doesn't make it super fun in combat. Some things are blown out, like I can tell you this castle already is. Yeah, there's a bunch of shimmer and stuff. I don't know. It's not what I expected. I expected better, and I think a lot of people did. At least that's and then like some of your big outlets like Digital Foundry and stuff made you believe that. And I at this point, like, I don't trust anything they say, but I have my own reasons, because they'll backtalk and crosstalk almost on everything, including all the Xbox stuff. But anyways, there's a reason they held out on all this, because like while there is a lot of game here, and you can tell, they overhyped the fidelity, man. Like they did.
Let's talk.
But I think this is probably the best place to be with settings. The unfortunate part is like I don't want to max out my 5090 to play a game with DLSS and frame gen. And then it also created this weird over gammaed, contrasty Black Crush thing going on that I can't figure out. And it's weird. So here's your zoom through your camera angles. It's weird that, if I can show it off, you can see a lot of the detail in objects, but like look at the oranges or whatever. See that shimmer and weird polygon thing it's doing? I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, there you go. They're not round, if that makes sense. And then when you're out just a little bit, the lighting and the, I guess, textures just make that look weird. And a lot of things will do that if you start really looking. it's strange, and some things like look blurry, like not focused. Yeah, even you can see the load in from that. And most people would be like, oh, not a huge deal. And if it was multiplayer, I'd be like, yeah, probably not a huge deal. But this is supposed to be about the immersion and like, I don't know, at least to me it is, in all the fidelity of this crazy detailed world. Is it going to be fixed? I don't know. Can it be fixed? I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know, what's the expectation there? I don't expect the terrain to load in right in front of me every time I walk, though. Like, I don't, you know, with textures and, to me, it's annoying. And again, I keep seeing this weird, and I don't know if it's the lighting over top of things doing it, but like it like smears stuff off around the edges of the screen until you look at it and it loads in. Sometimes it doesn't at all. And then this black crush that's happening, I cannot figure out how to fix. If you can tell, like right there, it just does it. It's how you're like in it. Yeah, see, that doesn't make any sense. So I think there's some broken stuff in these games that I could pick apart all day. And I don't really fully understand Rayry to the point of to be like, oh, well, it's that thing, or it's the DLSS doing that. Let's turn it off. And now we're going to be in the kabillion frame rate. So, I mean, like, that should tell you something. The Black Crush isn't exactly the same. Yeah. But it's definitely doing something, and I think here we can try and turn off ray tracing all the way. Let's go. Yeah, it's a little bit better, but not much. So I think it's something to do with that. We can even take this a step further and come off DLSS completely. Or max out the GPU again, but you know. Yeah, I look, it's I don't turn this into a super long video, and like we could go like every part of the game and we could talk about how there's probably a lot of cherry picking that happened. And the thing is, man, unfortunately, you just never know what the conversation is between a publisher, developer, and XYZ company or outlet. Like sometimes they just straight tell people like, you can't say this or you can't do that, and some of those people won't tell you. That's just part of the industry. There's a lot of BS that happens. Let's try this version. And I haven't gone through and tried to tick all these on and off. I just played with the lighting, and what I found was the lighting and simulation quality did some weird stuff, but the lighting definitely turned off ray reconstruction. I don't know if it was supposed to, but it did. Yeah, it does a weird thing to the grass. It just makes it like so oddly bright. But there is a lot of like detail in the world of like living world. It's just, I don't know, a lot of it gets hindered by the performance. Yeah, like pop in like that all just popped in. It's not the worst thing in the world. But you had an expectation from other videos. I wanted to put this out just to be like, hey, this is my experience on a pretty new build, on a fresh build that's not a test bench. and to realize that like with ray reconstruction on, it's a 30 FPS game. Okay, it's barely a 60 FPS game. Even with it off. So on a 5090, that's, you know, keep that in mind. All right, like I need everyone to understand that part. So if we come in and turn this off, which I think there's something broken with it, I don't know what. We just go DLSS 4. Okay. Then you can see, oh, better latency, you know, huge frame rate. Cool. But the second we just take that away, okay, it's bugged. It's gotta be bugged. It's a 60 FPS game, so you're a 4K 60 FPS game without the enhancements, without AI upscaling and things. And it still has a couple little bugs. Is that horrible? And mind you, this is an open world part. We're not like in this, you know, up in the cities where I would say that would be the cities and fights would be where, like, God, the popping is so weird. Is where you really want to measure a game. I just noticed that pumpkin, like, was polygony. Is where you really want to measure a game, because it's where all the moving parts, you know. That being said, it's not even in action and all the other stuff going on. But I would deem this as a 60 FPS game and 4K on quote unquote ultra settings, with still some performance issues. And I don't know if that's good or bad for everybody else, but to me, in 2026 on a 5090, 99, 50, it's not the best. Because I think of games like this, like, what if there's multiplayer? What if there's this? What if these bigger battles? And I'll find out as we get through the game. That could be an issue. It could be a real big issue down the road on other people's low-end systems. You know, because if on a 5090 it's a 4K 60 game, what are we talking about for everybody else? So that's the point I'm trying to make at the end of the day. It's not what we quote unquote got sold. Hopefully it gets fixed. That's all. That's where we're at. And when I move on to the game and find something else, I'll let you know. I don't love being maxed out on my computer ever, because I like to use other programs at the same time. Maybe something like, you know, a Discord type app and a browser and other things. Even if I turn off, you know, Shadowplay doesn't really do anything. So, it sucks to be stuck in a place where if I clamp the frame rate, because I've done that it just screws things up even worse. So that tells me there's something wrong. I got that popping is just freaking terrible. And it's all right in front of you. So I hope we see a fix, because I think this is a really pretty and neat game to do exploring in, and it's gonna be. I can tell you right now, the controls are not for everybody. I hate the controls. They're not intuitive. That's your jump, and then if you want to, like, run and jump, so I'm running. I can't. I have to precision jump with this other button, which is let's see, can I? Oh, it won't let me do it on this object. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know why it's like certain points I can, other points I can't. But anyways, there you have it. There's my 25-minute rant of everything I've tried to do with this game and settings wise didn't seem to turn out the way that I thought it would. I would say if you have a low-end system, expect to have to turn the settings down. Oh, the shadows are real bad on that roof. I just noticed, like, the whole thing change. And that's the thing, like, we start talking flying dragons and jetpacks and all this stuff, like, what's loading and things gonna be like then? Like, that's kind of a concern. Let's try this before I go. Let's just do a high. Boom. That's model. How do we? Which I think turns Ray off completely. So. Did not change the VRAM, but. 350 FPS. Still noticing the pop-in and the LED. It's kind of just all over the place. I can see shadows in the grass, like where my cursor's at, like moving in and out. Like the thing is like, and then like that just popped in. Yeah, I don't want to say it made it worse somehow. The blur further out is way worse and lower resolution. All right, well, anyways, I wanted to see what that was like, if that'd make a big difference or not. Doesn't seem like it. There's probably some things we can tweak here later to maybe free up some GPU, but yeah, I couldn't get over how poor DLA turn all that back on. I think I'd have to reset it for this, but the latency is just bananas. It's like steering a boat with your right thumb. So I wouldn't say DLA is worth it. I just, oh, the whole river just popped in. Oh wow, Reflections did too. Yeah, we'll see. I'll see what they say. Hopefully there's a response to this. I'll see you on the next one.